hardest thing as a young hitter to learn in the big leagues as you were trying to progress into being hopefully a mainstay up there?
To be the hardest thing now is that I think people have lost the ability or the mindset to go up there and when you walk to the plate, have the mentality that I'm going to be the toughest out possible. That's that's really what it comes down to. That's the first thing Dale Murphy ever said to me. Got to hit the ball from foul pole to foul pole if you want to drive in runs in this game. You got to be able to hit the ball the other way. People are not going to challenge you hitting in the middle of the lineup. You're going to have to, dink and dunk some balls to left. You're going to have to drive the ball into the left center gap. And I really took that to heart. I think you can see a few instances where guys, when they walk to the plate, that they are thinking, you're not getting me out. I'm going to be the toughest out possible. You could look at a Soto, in New York, taking a bunch of walks, like really working counts. You could tell he takes pride. He's kind of a left-handed Albert Pujols to me, is the comp, if you will. Obviously, doesn't hit for the average that Albert did, but same type of mentality, same type of, hey, I'm working from the feet on up. I'm going to have a solid base. My head is not going to move very much, and I'm gonna do some damage when I go up here. But there are very few instances like that in the game today, and that's the frustrating part. That's what makes watching the game nowadays so difficult for us dinosaurs, because we were just brought up with a different mentality. My dad always told me home runs come when you least expect it. Drive the ball into the gap. When you get that man strength and you're driving balls into the gap both ways, eventually, those balls are going to end up carrying out of the ballpark. And any hitter here in Atlanta that has ever run across me, they will tell you universally what I tell all hitters. We are going to hunt the fastball middle away to the off gap. That allows the ball to travel. That allows us to see the ball longer. And those breaking balls and changeups that they throw for strikes, that's the one that we clip to the pull gap. Okay. And I just believe that's as solid approach as you can possibly have. Obviously, depending on the guy's repertoire, if you got a lefty up there that's throwing you anything from four seamer, two seamer inside to cutter to slider to curveball inside, much like an Andy Pettit or a Al Leiter used to do. Your approach is going to change. It's going to be more to the pull side because they are only efficient at throwing glove side. They can't throw efficiently to the arm side. So what do? Okay, I'm going to back off the plate 2 or 3 inches, and I'm going to make the inside corner the middle of the plate. Now I know if I see it inside, I spit on it, and it's going to be a ball. So a lot of different ways to skin a cat, but it's the approach that I think works the best for guys who are trying to be the toughest out possible. Now it's just basically, hey, I'm going to try and get on playing, and I'm trying to hit this ball out of the ballpark. And with guys throwing a little bit harder now than they used to, they're having trouble catching up. And it's either, it's strikeout or home run.
Well, it's the philosophy too. I still believe to this day, and you can't convince me otherwise, is that with 2 strikes, putting the ball in play, I know, you're not giving up power, but for me, when you put the ball in play, it allows for something good to happen, right?
For the team.
For the team. I watched it. I watched it with Sam Basayo just got called up for the Orioles. And in his third game in the big leagues, Sam hits a ball that's a ball, but, he got fooled, but he's scratching and clawing, and he hits a swinging bunt that goes perfectly out in front of the plate or in between the pitcher and the catcher, and the runner scores from third. That ends up being the winning run, for that game. Now, other cases where you put it in play, it just allows for the defense to have to make a play. And I get it. Striking out's probably going to be more that's just guys throw harder. They got good stuff. There's no doubt about it. But sounds like to you, what I also hear, the mental approach side, you're watching what the pitcher, not only his tendencies are, what he does to you,
Right.
and where you need to move. I love that you just said, hey, if I know he's got a certain repertoire of pitches and he has a style, maybe I back off the plate. Maybe I move up. Out of curiosity, Chipper, like maybe just one example real quickly. It ain't fun. I wouldn't want to face this guy. He's the best pitcher in the game in Skeens. But like if you were facing a guy like Skeens, ball's going everywhere, and you're going, hey, if he does his thing, I'm probably not hitting it. If he like, that's the reality. Like when Randy Johnson back in the day, if Randy locates and does his thing, it's gonna be a tough time at the dish.
Right.
But say like Paul Skeens, you're saying middle away approach to him. What else would you try to maybe eliminate or focus on?
I think if I see spin, I would probably spit as much as I could. Obviously, he's got overpowering stuff, and I check swing and get fooled quite often with guys who throw that hard. I think the one thing to remember is Pedro Martinez used to throw hard. Rocket used to throw hard. Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, those guys threw hard too. The approach is, and the way you're successful against them is to sit one or the other and have the discipline to spit on the other stuff. You can sit off speed. It's not a big deal, but you have to be disciplined enough not to offer at the fastball. My strength is I want to hit the fastball 100% of the time. And as well as I do, if you get that one pitch from a Skeens or a Randy or a Pedro and you miss it, bye-bye. Bye-bye. You missed it. You got your one shot and you missed it. And whenever I've had success against those guys, I didn't miss it. So it would be the same way with Skeens. If I saw spin, I would probably try and spit on it. But if he throws that ball in that outside corner and it's somewhat straight and it's somewhat hard, that's my domain. That's where I want to live. I can give you so many examples. I'll give you one right now. Kevin Brown. All right. Elbows, kneecaps, just, hated everybody, just some filth. 96 with the four-seamer, 94 turbo sink, cutter, split. And I tried to cover it all early on in my career, and he dominated, and then all of a sudden I'm like, you idiot. If he goes out there, that's where you're going to be successful. If he comes in here, you got to spit, and all of a sudden I started kind of turning the tables on him a little bit. But takes that kind of homework, that kind of preparation, and that kind of mindset to be successful up here.
I think what you're also saying, another like one word to describe it, is you have to have conviction with what you're doing. If you have a game plan, you have to be 100% in on what you're doing.
Yeah.
It can't be in the middle.
That works for all three phases. You gotta, if you're on the mound, you gotta throw that pitch with conviction. You shake until you get to it. You throw that pitch with conviction, because if you don't, it's gonna get laced somewhere. If you're out in the field and I'm standing there at third base and I'm like, please don't hit it to me, please don't hit it to me, oh shit, you're in trouble. But if you're like, this is coming to me, get ready, it's probably going to be soft contact, so it's going to be catch and go. Those are the kind of players that are well prepared and the best players in the game.
Yeah, the key that I've realized moving forward, talent obviously can take you a certain way, but sometimes the most talented players don't reach their potential because they can't unlock the other side of it, which is the mental side of the game.
Right.
And some of the lesser talented guys, not that they aren't talented players, but we know who those guys are. You mentioned being on the field with Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Jr. Talented dudes, talented. what made them better was they knew how to use their God-given ability to also connect their mind to their body, and they had the success. But there's a lot of other guys. Mention a guy like Dustin Pedroia, a talented player, but he got every ounce of what he needed to be as a player.
Yep.
But he's not. He ain't the 6'5", built in a lab type of guy. But damn, he was a good player because he knew what he had to do each time.
You didn't want him coming up in the ninth with the game on the line. He had that clutch gene. Yep.
That's it right there. So I think that's a perfect way to wrap it all up, Chipper. I really appreciate you taking the time today, and I look forward to getting a chance to see you in person soon.
All right, buddy. My pleasure. Enjoyed talking to you. Always good to talk baseball with baseball people. Love it.